Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curiosity Rocks, and this is an ASMR and trigger-free review of Sherlock Series 3 Episodes 1 and 2. So now I'm going to go into my mind palace and view the show. So first of all we had, by the way, this will be full of spoilers. First of all, we had, I came into it like a few seconds late and it had already started. So Sherlock was jumping off the building, but he had a bungee rope on. He bungeed up, crashed through the window, snogged Molly, and yay! But that turned out to be Anderson's madcap theory, so I was a bit disappointed because I thought it looked really cool. And then there was another theory because Anderson had a fan group called the Empty Hearse. Now it's a bit like Linda on Love and Monsters Doctor Who episode where they had theories, and one of the fangirls in the group had a theory that Sherlock and Moriarty pushed a dummy off the roof and then snogged. So they didn't quite snog, we didn't quite see the juicy stuff. So I really enjoyed that theory. What I really enjoyed when Sherlock went through the restaurant, but before that there was I was like, oh my gosh, that's Sherlock getting beaten up with long hair. So, oh, I was really sad and annoyed that they were beating him up. That was mean. But then he had a shave and Mycroft was there and he went home. And then he turned up at the restaurant where John Watson's got his fairy caterpillar. And Sherlock, he puts his moustache on. And that's what I did for my Tigger review. I drew a moustache on my face, because I thought it was really fun. I really liked how he put his moustache on, and he put like funny glasses on and did disguise to surprise John Watson. And then we see Watson just being increasingly violent towards Sherlock, and they keep getting thrown out of posh places till they're in some like takeaway bar. And I thought that was really funny. There was a big change for this first opening of like series 3. It's a lot different. The first 2 episodes are a lot different than the previous series, which was, I have actually read a lot of discussion, so I've got more words this time, which was more procedural. So, but I really prefer this series so far because I like seeing more of the emotions and more of the more of Sherlock being more of a little boy. I like that. So I actually really like the new tone they've taken with series 3, and it seems a lot of other people really like it too, because it's like loads of like sort of not like hardcore fans saying they loved it. So I thought that was really good. So I laughed. It's hilarious. Episode 1 and 2 are hilarious. Episode 1 is a bit more hilarious than episode 2, especially because they did this thing where they intercut Sherlock and Watson, and they made it so they did really funny swears. It's really funny. So most of the episode 1 was about Sherlock trying to get into John's good books again, and also it was about Anderson trying to convince Lestrade about how Sherlock did it. There's a really cute bit where Lestrade, he looks like he's giving him, because John Watson's already been violent to Sherlock, and you think Lestrade's going to punch you, but he doesn't. He gives him this really cute bear hug, and it's really sweet. But a thing that I left out my Tigger review was that I'm really annoyed because Molly's cute jumper, I had that about a year or so ago, and unfortunately it got chucked away and given to a charity shop, and when I saw it was on Molly's, like, oh, that's so annoying. I had that about a couple of years ago. That's really annoying. You can actually see it on one of my videos. It's like, oh, I had a jumper that was in Sherlock, I give it away. So that was annoying. But I really liked Sherlock substituting but I don't know how to use substitution words, but instead of going round with John Watson, who had a new fiancée called Mary, who is absolutely lovely, Sherlock took Molly round to be his Watson, and I thought it really worked really well because they were really cute together. And then Sherlock, he asked for chips. He said, so I related that to the man with chips in Doctor Who, which is really awesome. So if there could be a crossover series with Sherlock and Man with Chips going out for chips, because I really would enjoy that. And then there is the actual sort of mystery plot where they had to go on the underground cars. And obviously there was, well, not obviously to me because I just enjoyed the episode, but there's a lot of debate about whether it's that's the wrong kind of subway car, that's the wrong kind of underground, that's wrong. And they couldn't actually show the real underground and do it actually completely accurate, because that's actually against the law to show it all completely accurately. There was quite a few little sort of Doctor Who references, which is quite fun. I really enjoyed meeting Mary for the first time because I think she's really lovely. So the next episode 2, we had the wedding speech. So the main plot was that Sherlock had to make a best man speech, but interwoven within that was all the cases that he and Watson had done, and not all of them, but there was one with called The Elephant in the Room. We didn't actually see the elephant, but it twunked out of the sound dead, and there was like looking at elephants like. But I thought the mystery in that episode, I thought it was a bit boring. I preferred all the emotions and all the funny bits that Sherlock did, especially because Sherlock said he likes dancing. Now, somebody said that you know what Moffat's like, what dancing is a metaphor for in Doctor Who, but I don't think that applies to Sherlock, because I think Sherlock was just honest, he just likes dancing. So I thought that was interesting new development, so it's all floaty, dancey boy. Well, I really liked Archie the little kid. When Archie is when they do that greeting the bride and groom bit, and Archie just ran to Sherlock and hugged him. That's how I hug people. When there's certain people though, I hug them like that, like Archie did. So I thought that was cute. And then it turns out that Archie and Sherlock were looking at Sherlock's laptop at all the weird cases and that, and they was chatting about the wedding and stuff. And Archie said, do I have to wear a suit? And Sherlock said, yeah. And Archie said, why? And Sherlock said, grown-ups like it when you do. And Archie was saying, why? And Sherlock said, well, I don't know, I guess I'll ask one. So I thought that was funny that she has to go and ask a grown up. And I really enjoyed the bit where Sheila was sat on the floor and made all the um, napkins into the Sydney Opera House while Mary and John were talking round the corner. I thought that was really cute. He really did look like a little child then. Mycroft was taking the mickey because there's, well, he said red beard, but I think that's picked up in episode 3, interestingly. But that might have been about Sherlock when he was a little kid playing pirates. Oh, one of the best bits, I think it was episode 1. They framed it and it looked like Sherlock and Mycroft were like being serious playing chess, but they turned out they were playing Operation, and I thought that was hilarious. And I really enjoyed felt like Sherlock just got Mycroft playing these board games. That was just really funny. So I really like how it's not just focusing on mystery. I like BBC Sherlock that now that it's focusing more on character development and character emotions and interplay. Because I do have the Jeremy Brett series, which I really like because I fancy him too. He's slightly more fanciful than Benedict, I think, but that's a good one because it's focused on the cases a bit more, but he's also a really good Sherlock because he jumps about and everything, and in Jeremy Brett version he puts on loads of disguises, so that's a good one. I've also got I keep forgetting this guy's name. I've also got the films, the film versions of Sherlock, but I don't like the new modern film version of Sherlock. I never watched them. I'm not interested in them because they just don't appeal to me. And I've got Sherlock Hound, which is all about a sort of a dog that's Sherlock, which is funny. So they're the ones I've got, and I've got the behind me in my purple bookcase, which is actually painted a special purple because it's a purple shade of sex colour. Is the big Sherlock book collection with the silhouette of his face on with deerstalk on, but I just bought the complete collection for Kindle because it's easier to read them that way because they're really heavy books. And also I've forgotten everything. The first story in the Sherlock collection, it does note that Watson does note that he wears a hat. So I don't know, because a lot of people saying he never wore a deerstalk in the original books, but it does seem to have worn a hat. So anyway, I'm not really a proper like Sherlock obsessive like that, so don't shout at me if I say something wrong. But so, and Molly has also she got a new boyfriend who dresses, got the same coat as Sherlock, wears a scarf like Sherlock, so sort of like an alternative Sherlock, even though Molly insists she's over Sherlock, so that was funny. And Miss Hudson's brilliant. So yeah, I really liked all the funny characterization stuff in episodes 1 and 2. So in episode 1, I'll spoil you now if you're a spoiler freak and you really want them and you haven't seen it yet. Episode 1 is all about Sherlock trying to make up to John Watson, and then at the end they try and defuse a bomb, which is actually the underground car is the actual bomb. It was left in the middle of it was detached and left in a bit of the station where they built the station, but they didn't build an overground entryway to it, so the car was all wired up. And then Sherlock acted like he didn't know how to get out of the situation, and then Watson he closed his eyes, and then we got a scene which was a bit confusing, but we got a scene with Sherlock saying to Anderson how he actually did it. And what he did was he jumped off onto an inflatable. The cyclist knocked Watson over, and then the these people squirted like fake blood on the ground, and then Sherlock had the squeeze ball under his armpit. That's the version of what Sherlock said to Anderson. And also, and Anderson's got this room with lots of theories pasted on the wall, and there's what looks like a drawing of the TARDIS too, so watch out for that. And yeah, and then we come back to Watson and Sherlock in this underground car, and Sherlock's is laughing at Watson because he really did know what to do, and it was just a toggle switch, and he just flicked it off. So that was what happened in episode 1, the solution, and in the solution in episode 2 is that these army guys, they had a belt that they put on for their uniform, and in the belt was this sort of stabby thing that as soon as they put the belt on, it stabbed them. So when they take the belt off, they have a stab wound, and that's how they die. The photographer at the wedding did it, and before that, we see Sherlock in his mind palace in this imaginary courtroom, and he's talking to these women on the internet, but we see it as an imaginary courtroom, and he's talking to these women about what connects them, because they all claim they had an affair with a ghost that disappeared, and it turns out they worked for this army guy, and then somehow the photographer who wanted to get this army guy, who was like an old friend of John Watson's, he wanted to get this army guy, so he did, because the bloke put a belt on, the belt with a stabby thing on, and then it turned out it was the photographer at the wedding who did it. And then oh yeah, and then the army guy is in his room 207, which if you watched my Tigger review, you'll know that my family grew in. My mum and her siblings grew up in a house called 207, so everywhere they go, they always look out for like the number 207, and so my family got excited. And then they had to persuade the army guy not to take off his belt until Watson could get in there and give him some first aid. So, and then after that, they carried on with the dancing at the wedding, and Sherlock had composed a violin piece, and he played it for them. That was their first dance, so that was really sweet. And then Sherlock was like, it was dancey time, and Sherlock was all like, oh, Sherlock was alone, with nobody would dance with him, except if I had been there, I would totally have danced with him. So Sherlock wrapped him, put his coat on, put his scarf on, and left their reception. You could see everybody dancing behind him, and people have said that's similar to a Doctor Who episode. So if you did want loads of big spoilers for the episode, I hope that's pleased you. We've got in the UK, we've still got episode 3 to come, which apparently, don't worry, because it all works out fine in the end. apparently, and everybody's as happy as they can be, but it's apparently a lot darker than 1 and 2. So, but I'm really sort of conflicted, because the guy who's meant to be the bad guy, he sort of looks like one of my best friends who we sort of enjoy when I see him, we just enjoy loads of non-stop hugging. So I kind of like the bad guy in episode 3. Well, I know he's a bad guy, but he looks so much like my friend that it's like, oh no, I've got a crush on the bad guy. So, but should be interesting. And for episode 3, I'll try and give a trigger-free review so you can actually hear what I'm saying, and I'll tell you all the spoilers there too if you'd like. So sorry, Stephen Moffat, but it's kind of fun. So I hope you have, all you Sherlock fans, I hope you're enjoying the sight of Benedict in my video, and I hope you enjoyed watching my video. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, Curiosity Rat.